Hey, my name is Emily and welcome to my channel, Emily Eats Veggies. I've already talked about why I'm a vegetarian in a previous video, and I thought today I would explain why I'm not a vegan. One of the first questions a lot of people ask me when they find out I'm a vegetarian is, but you're not a vegan? You're not a vegan, right? So right away a lot of people, they'll start asking, oh, but do you eat eggs? Do you eat cheese? Do you drink milk with your coffee? I normally have to explain I still eat dairy and eggs, not as often as maybe I would otherwise, maybe not as often as most people, but I do eat them, and I don't worry about it too much. Now at home, most of the time I tend to stick to only vegan food, and I don't go out of my way to buy a lot of vegan substitutes like vegan cheeses. But every now and then I do get a craving and I decide, if I make a burrito, it's just not going to be the same unless I have cheese, And not to say that vegan cheeses are not good, but let's be honest, they don't taste like cheese. They taste like vegan cheese, and that's fine. You just have to appreciate it for what it is and not what it's trying to be. My one greatest weakness would probably be ice cream. That has to be my favorite dessert. I love to have ice cream even in winter. So that's kind of my special treat. I try not to keep it always available. I'll just buy it every now and then when I feel like having it. What I'm trying to say is there's no animal products that I am consistently buying and always have on hand. Normally they're things that I only buy for a specific reason or a specific recipe. Today is not about that though. Today I want to share with you the main reasons why I'm not a vegan. A lot of people, they become vegetarian as one step along the journey with the end goal of eventually becoming vegan. For me, that is not the case. I think maybe in the future I could become a vegan, but it's not my choice right now. There's three main reasons I'd like to share with you today. So the first reason is just it's not practical. Being a vegan takes a lot more effort and work than any other diet or lifestyle out there. You have to be very intentional to be a vegan. You have to plan ahead. You have to be very careful. For me, that's more of a commitment than I'm ready for at this time. I'd like to be able to go out to a restaurant and be able to find at least one vegetarian option. Most restaurants now, they are catering to vegetarians, or they have something that vegetarians can eat. But in many places, there are still no vegan options. It just makes things less complicated and gives me some more options, especially when I'm traveling. You have to really be committed and really want it. Because in some situations, there just might not be food for you. That's the first reason, just practicality. I think in the future, vegan options will become a lot more common and even the norm, but in many parts of the world, we're just not there yet. Okay, on to my second reason. The second reason I'm not a vegan is because I still want to be friends with non-vegans. I still want to be friends with people who eat meat and do not share the same lifestyle that I do. Something that I've noticed is that vegans tend to become very isolated. They group together in their own communities with other people who think the same way that they do, and it's very alienating to people who do not make the same lifestyle choices that they do. I still want to be open to relationships outside of the vegan community and not alienate anyone or make them feel uncomfortable to be my friend. For instance, I I often get invited over to other friends' homes for dinner or a meal, or even to go out to a restaurant. Something that I've noticed is that I have to warn people ahead of time that I'm a vegetarian and let them have the option of whether they still want to cook for me. But in most cases, people will say, "Oh, well, do you still eat eggs or cheese?" And I say yes, and they say, "Okay, great, I can find a recipe that uses eggs or cheese." But in the case of vegans, most people do not know what vegans are okay with eating or how to feed a vegan. It kind of freaks them out. I don't want to put that kind of stress on my friends when they're just trying to be nice to me. For instance, let's say a friend baked cookies and wants to share their cookies with me. Somebody will bake cookies and bring them in to share with all their coworkers. I don't want to be the one person in the office saying, "Oh, I'm not going to eat those because you used eggs." That can be kind of rude and even hurtful for some people. So I don't want to make anyone feel bad for making cookies. In my experience, veganism tends to push people away more than it is attractive. And I don't want to create that barrier in my relationships. Okay, the third reason is closely tied to the second one, but it's a little more nuanced than that. And I feel like this is probably going to be the most controversial one. The third reason that I am not a vegan is because vegans have a bad reputation. Okay, let's face it, they have an attitude. Maybe if you're a vegan, you don't see it that way, or maybe you do not follow the norm for the vegan community. But what the stereotype and reputation is a lot of vegans are very judgmental, they're perfectionists, it's all or nothing with them. Even being vegetarian is not good enough unless you are on the process of becoming vegan. They can just make other people feel bad. Like the only right lifestyle is to be a vegan. And I'm not fully convinced that is true, at least not at this point in history. And I've also seen a lot of stories where people have tried veganism and they honestly wanted to be a vegan for the rest of their life. But because of certain health issues, it wasn't possible for them. Or maybe they don't have an independent income that allows them to choose what they eat. Maybe they're dependent on someone else for that. Maybe somebody else cooks for them. You don't know what every person's individual circumstances are. I know in my own personality, I have the flaw of perfectionism. I tend towards that. I also tend towards pride. And knowing that about myself, I don't want to give myself any kind of temptations to pride. And considering myself or calling myself a vegan, I know could be one reason I would feel prideful. Again, I'm not saying every vegan is like this, but it tends to be that trend, that this is the way people go, that the more seriously you take the vegan lifestyle and diet, the more you tend to see yourself as superior to people who don't make the same choices that you do. And I don't want to ever be in that place because I'm not perfect. I still have a lot to learn. I have a lot of growing to do. I'm not going to beat myself up if I eat something that has an egg in it, or if I go out for coffee and I have coffee with milk. I'm not going to stress out about it. And I feel like becoming a vegan at this point would be extremely stressful. If you disagree with any of my reasons, that's fine. You are entitled to your opinion. You can have a different opinion. Please share your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you think, what your reasons are to be a vegan, or what's holding you back from trying veganism or vegetarianism. Just let me know what you think about this video or any of these topics. So look forward to talking to you soon. See ya.